I don't want to take care of my husband's ex-wife any longer after she asked me to sell my house to support her. A 32 female has been married to a 40 male for 2 years. He brought 2 kids into the marriage, and I have one of my own. We don't have any children together. My husband was previously married and has been divorced for about a decade. His kids stay with their mother nearby, like 20 minutes away. Initially, she showed some petty behavior, but nothing major. She's very entitled and judgmental. She often makes snide remarks about me working too much, etc. She would make contrasting statements about me and my husband's marriage compared to hers, to the point where one day I told her that her relationship with my husband was over, and she needs to move on. My husband backed me up and she stopped her ways. I honestly don't think she is over him. But that has nothing to do with me. She's unemployed since getting fired 15 years ago and relies on her kids to get more time and money from my husband. She's been unwell lately, not managing her health effectively, and have been using her condition to collect sympathy points from my husband. Asking him to be there at doctor's appointments. Of course, to watch the kids while she's there. Asking him for rides constantly because she doesn't feel safe driving. She always wants to tag along when we take the kids out. She has a boyfriend, by the way. Lately, she has been suggesting to my husband that she isn't well enough to take care of her children. Right now, they have shared custody, and they are with us every other weekend and during school vacations. She told my husband that I should sell my house, which I bought before we met, to downgrade and buy a smaller home and build her a tiny house on the land close to us, to provide more support for the kids and her. I was flabbergasted that he would even mention this to me. I couldn't understand why I needed to sell my house to accommodate her. I offered to have the kids stay with us, but she declined, stating that she prefers to stay close to the kids and doesn't trust us to raise them. She has a boyfriend and family nearby, but insists on receiving care only from us. Even saying that my husband made vows to her before he made vows to me. I feel totally disrespected, don't want to sell my house, and don't want to have a grown woman freeloading off of me. I believe she should rely on her existing support system. Some of my in-laws says I'm just being selfish and don't need such a big house anyway. My husband hasn't expressed anything either way, which is annoying. I want to stand my ground, but I'm starting to feel like a jerk because she is sick. From the comments, info, and your husband is agreeing with her ideas requests? OP, at one point he says she is being ridiculous, but he doesn't want his kids in a hard position. He says he wants to buy a house with me, so why not do it this way? I still don't want to take care of this woman. He just hasn't been supportive enough of my decision and has not been telling his family to back off. Update. Thanks everyone. I think I need to stand my ground here. I'll speak with him tonight and we'll update. I'm really tired of his ex and don't think she should be the main character in our lives anymore. I want to put this here because a lot of people have been asking why my husband won't speak up. This was my response to post. He says he doesn't want to be a deadbeat father because his father was, and she often threatens to not allow him to see them. Even at our wedding, she would not allow the kids to be there unless she was also invited. Update. I spoke to my husband and told him that there was absolutely no way I was going to sell my house. I told him that my house was an investment that I planned to one day pass it to my child as an asset. That he and his parents and his ex are dead wrong for suggesting I sell it. I said that if his parents have something to say, then they can build a tiny home for her on their 10 acres of land. He agreed and said he's been feeling bad that he was entertaining the idea, but his ex was guilting him because of her condition. She has multiple sclerosis. I told him that he will no longer be supplementing her lifestyle and no more running errands. I am his wife and I should be priority. I told him that he has to call her in front of me and tell her this. He called her and told her that he will no longer be used as a placeholder for her boyfriend and she need to stop trying to manipulate everyone. She said it was unfortunate that I was acting insecure and that I was interfering with their healthy co-parenting relationship. She said that I was young and immature and should consider their kids, and she knew that this would happen one day. I told her that she needs to get off her lazy butt and take care of herself and her kids and stop freeloading off everyone. I told her that she need to be focusing her attention on her current relationship because that is her best shot at a decent future because we are pulling back effectively immediately. She immediately started crying and said she was feeling sick and needs to go to the emergency room and needed to end the conversation to protect herself and her health. We couldn't really get into outlining all the boundaries before she just hung up and blocked both of us. I typed out an email and copied all parties involved and sent it to her. I'm so mad right now, I'm seeing red. I want to provide clarity. She was recently diagnosed maybe a year ago. She has been manipulating since I met her, but has been more invasive after her diagnoses. She has been out of work for 15 years, which is only reason I call her lazy. She is on every government subsidy we could get her on. I helped facilitate this when she was diagnosed. But she keeps wanting and expecting more. I admit that I felt bad for her for a long time, which is why I let it go on for so long. But asking me to sell my house is beyond my limit. Story 2. I didn't let my son stay home from school for the sake of his mental health. Now he's ignoring me. My son's 16 male approached me yesterday after school and told me that he didn't want to go to school the next day. I asked him why, and he told me that he just didn't feel like going, and he was tired of waking up early in the morning. I told him that that wasn't a good enough reason for him to stay home, and that if he feels tired when waking up in the morning, then he should try and go to get in bed earlier. He got upset with me when I told him that, and told me that he needs to stay home for the sake of his mental health. He then told me that making him go to school would only worsen it. I asked him why he thought that, and he told me that the kids and teachers at his school irritates him. This made me concerned, so I asked him if anyone was bullying him, or if he was having problems with some of his teachers, and he just told me that he wasn't, and he just finds them annoying. I asked him if that was the only reason, and he told me that it was. I understood where my son was coming from, and I tried to show my understanding. I told him how I sometimes find my coworkers annoying too, but that doesn't mean I get to skip work just because of it. I told him that if he is serious about school being detrimental to his mental health, then I told him that I'll try and find him a therapist to help him manage it. He then got even more mad at me and told me that he doesn't need a therapist and that he only needs time away from school. He told me that I don't understand how stressful school can be, and that's why he needs time away. I told him that I do understand, and a therapist could be beneficial in helping him deal with stress. He started arguing with me about not wanting to go again, and I just got frustrated. I told him that he has an upcoming doctor's appointment this Wednesday, so there's no need for him to miss both Tuesday and Wednesday. I told him that I don't want him to miss days of school, unless they are absolutely necessary. He took this as me telling him that his mental health wasn't important, and then he started telling me that I must not love him if I send him to school. He then told me that if I try and force him to see a therapist, I'll have something else to worry about. I asked him to clarify what he meant by that, but he didn't specify. He just told me not to worry about it and to leave him alone. Cut to this morning. He was very hostile with me from the moment he woke up and was practically ignoring me whenever I tried to speak to him. Then when I dropped him off at school, he told me that he finds it weird that I hate him so much and don't want him to succeed in life. Then before I could say anything, he got out of the car quickly. When I picked him up from school today, I tried to talk about what happened and what he said. But he just ignored me and is still not speaking to me.